WDHA's Reconnect with Rockers. TC here. And like my new obsession is Ayron Jones. I am an Uber fan, so I hope I don't fangirl on you because I'm such a fan. As I said to you, quality stuff. I mean, amazing songs, great vocals, killer guitar playing. Where do I start? Is this the new sound of Seattle? Is this the new sound?
Man, it's looking like it's being dubbed that, you know what I mean? It would be an honor to take up that torch, if that's the case, but I guess so. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not in the position of power enough, or I don't, have that legacy enough to say whether I'm the new Seattle sound or not, but I would be honored to take up that torch if that's what it ends up being, you know what I mean? Everything that I put on the record, or everything I've been putting on the record, and this song "Take Me Away" have been inspired by the region and where I come from. For certainly the sound and the tone. And I know when I sat and really started going over "Take Me Away," me and the producer sat and we looked at each other and we're like, we need to make this as Seattle as possible. So we took it from as many Seattle influences as we could and put it on the record, and it turned out the way it did. So if it turns out that we ended up being the new torchbearers for Seattle rock, I'll take it.
I love it because your story too has so many pieces. I mean, and the journey has been so organic, which is very inspiring because it's inspiring for people who are taking that organic journey themselves. I mean, you got your love for singing in the church, as a lot of different people did over formats and genres of music. People got that love of singing in the church. And I first knew you as Ayron Jones and The Way. With, your project of that. I'm like a sucker for a great power trio. I don't think there's anything better, in life than a great power trio. And then all of a sudden The Way was sort of by the way.
Cast to the wayside.
Cast to the wayside. And you decided, you know what? I have come this far. I'm not going backwards, man. I'm just going to move forward. First of all, I want to get your when did you pick up the first guitar, and when did you feel that it just felt so right for you?
I was age 13 was when I picked up the first guitar, beginning of my 8th grade year in middle school. And for me, it felt right away, just because I'd been playing violin up to that point, taking violin in school. You get into school and they say, pick an instrument you want to play. And I just went, oh, sure, violin. It sounds all right. And so I got into it. I was never really great at violin, but something about holding that in my hand and that part felt right. So when I finally picked up a guitar, it just felt like a really natural progression for me. And then right away I started, teaching myself how to play and listen to records and trying to emulate sounds, different tones I've heard throughout the years.
And you're self-taught. So it wasn't like you just said, oh, you know what? I want to take lessons. You just kind of picked it up. You heard it, you felt it. And it sort of emoted, out of you like it does out of a lot of amazing and great guitar players. Now, there's so many people that have been a part of your journey. But when I think of a few people, when I was reading a little bit about your bio, that shaped you, and it makes so much sense to me. And I'm not talking necessarily about inspirations, because people would look at you and say like, oh man, he plays like Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan or Eric Gales, or, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that was sort of a part of that journey. So I'm going to name a couple of names for you, and then you give me a little bit of the piece of a part of that journey. I'm going to start with Barrett Martin from the Screaming Trees, a band I actually played on the air today, and Mad Season and Walking Papers, who is such an underrated musician. So talk to me about your hookup with him and how you guys kind of, came to be a little bit of a unit together.
Yeah. So with Barrett, that happened after, I dropped my first indie record in 2013, and we got a lot of buzz from that. And in doing that, Barrett kind of came across my path. I think I'd been asked to do a separate kind of film project or something like that. And it was recommended that I work with Barrett Martin. And that was kind of my first introduction to that. And Barrett went on to produce my second indie record. And in doing so, it got me in a circle of people such as, Duff McKagan and the Mike McCready's of the world.
Yeah, so right.
That got me in those circles, man. And Barrett was super inspirational to me as a songwriter, and in terms of arrangement and putting records together. And at this time, when I met Barrett, I hadn't quite found my sound as an artist. Like I was still kind of searching for that tone, like what was really how do I take that thing that I've been doing on the big stage with this power trio and put it on a record. You know, that was always the battle for me. But Barrett kind of set me on my path with that, got me in the studio, taught me how to really arrange a good song, and was the first introduction to really kind of, you can say, like the baby steps into commercial rock, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm going to throw another name at you, and it may surprise WDHA listeners. Didn't surprise me because I know this gentleman has been part of music and a part of the scene for so long, but that's Sir Mix-a-Lot, who actually had a quote that when he saw you in a club, he had this epiphany where he was like, I have seen the future of rock and roll. And it's Sir Mix-a-Lot, which, you know, I mean, look, everybody still sees on MTV Classic, you know, the Baby Got Back video. It's a classic. I mean, so tell me how, because he was really somebody who was very instrumental in moving you forward again.
Extremely. But before I met Barrett, I got an opportunity to work with Sir Mix-a-Lot, and this happened after we were playing this bar, a little dive bar in the U District called the Rat and the Raven, and there's nobody there. There's only 10 people there, and and he walks in and he's floored. He's like, "This is amazing." You know, at the time we're still a jam band at this point. You know, we're just trying to figure it out. Like, we've been playing bars. We've had a few little looks here and there for some local festivals and stuff.
Little bit of your Government Mule phase, you know, where everybody's jamming. Right, right.
We actually played a festival of Government Mule.
Right.
It's exactly it. We were still really jamming. And so he was the first person to really introduce me to what it meant to get in the studio and actually record a record for the first time, you know. So he produced my first record, and it was instrumental. I mean, even to this day, I still talk to Mix-a-Lot when I can about, you know, about the different ins and outs of the music industry. I mean, it's a really, they can be tough waters to navigate, especially when you're a brand new artist, you know. You know, so I would say that he not only did he inspire me music wise and set me on this path that I'm at today, you know, he's also been like a big brother to me in this industry, and still plays a huge role in what's going on with me today.
And it's so important to have somebody like that. You know, it's so important to have people as part of your journey, those people who believe in you, because you have those days where, like you said, we're playing this dive bar and there wasn't really a lot of people there. And that can be something that can floor an artist where, you know, an artist can be like, you know what, not doing this anymore. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. So to have somebody like, look, Sir Mix-a-Lot, how many freaking records has he sold? You need those people behind you to be able to move you forward. All right. And then I'm also going to say Janelle Monáe, who's also somebody who has been a big giant recently. So you've got somebody from the 90s. Then you've got Sir Mix, who's like seeing the future of rock and roll, and you're like, Sir Mix-a-Lot seeing this. Then you've got somebody who now current day is sort of like the model for, you know, the business model for what music is. And this person also is a part of your journey, which is tremendous.
Yeah, Janelle Monáe. So right before I met Sir Mix-a-Lot, this is in 2000, I want to say 11, I had gotten hit up to come and play as a guitar player for a group called Deep Cotton, which was a punk group under her label, Wonderland. And so when I got this phone call unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize that they'd be flying me into the house that everyone was staying at. So I'm staying in a house with Janelle Monáe and Deep Cotton and these other artists that are tremendous artists on her label that are also working for towards the same cause, which is to keep moving forward and keep putting out dope music. And it was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. You got to remember, at this time, this is before anything's happened. I've not recorded a record. I've not done anything. And here I am, you know, with this woman who is just a powerhouse. I mean, she was the boss the whole time. And respectfully, I said that with, you know, she wasn't mean about anything, but you could tell that she's a very serious artist, and the people around her
strong women. I love it. I love it. Strong women. Yeah, we need them.
People around her were very instrumental in helping support her in her journey, you know. And so when I came back from working with Janelle, I did a little. We opened for her on tour. I think that tour was Fun and Janelle Monáe, and then Deep Cotton was opening for Fun for about a week on tour. And once I came home, that was it. That was actually the moment I decided I was gonna try to become a major label artist, no matter what it took. And 10 years later, here we are. You know?
Yeah, and dedicate yourself to your craft. And you know, you think you just mentioned, and you know, we played with Fun, and you've opened and played with so many artists. I mean, I don't know that many artists that can say, I've opened for BB King. I've played with BB King. I've played with Guns N' Roses. I've played with Run DMC. We talked a little bit about freaking Robin Trower. Hello. what an amazing guitar player. That, my friend, is just the well-rounded part of the rock and roll journey. Just absolutely incredible. And certainly I can hear so much of that in what you do. Now, I want to talk, of course, about Take Me Away. I mean, emotion-drenched song. You've not had the easiest time. You did not grow up sort of like a, hey, kid with the greatest background in the world. And you can really hear that in the song. And I think that song, though, connects with people in so many different ways right now. So talk to me a little bit about pouring that emotion into a song like that. And every time we play it, you know, it's one of those songs where people just go, who was that? And oh my God, that song is me right now. That song, I feel that song. That song is who I am.
Yeah. Well, you know, my background, it wasn't easy. It played a tremendous role in a lot of the emotional issues I dealt with coming up as an adult and having to work those things out, both on a mental health standpoint in terms of like, you know, kind of ironing out what it was that had affected me. Because a lot of things that happened to a lot of people in this country, and this is why I think Take Me Away is so significant, is, you know, the American idea of this like white, you know, picket fence and this house in the suburbs and stuff like that. Only a handful of people really get to experience that, you know. I would say, and even those people that experience that still deal with a lot of the same emotional issues that someone like myself, you know, I came from the inner city. I came from a background where, you know, my mom was drug addicted. My dad was involved with the street game. And, you know, so I grew up in a neighborhood where people grew up with their grandmas or their aunties or, you know, whoever, and had to deal with the tumultuous lifestyle of a person who has parents that are involved in these things, you know, and the abandonment, all these things. And so, you know, whenever I write music, I've always written it with multiple layers. I don't ever want to write a song that's just specific to me, you know. I want to write a song that is maybe about my story, but I know when somebody else hears it, it's about their story too, even though we may have different stories, you know. So Take Me Away was that anthem, and is the anthem for the downhearted, the broken, and the forgotten, you know, and it just kind of just so happened to be released in a time period when a lot of people feel that way. And so I'm just very thankful that it's being received so well. You know what I mean? I'm thankful that people are able to connect to it, and it's providing some sort of beacon of hope or light or understanding that you're not alone in this world. And the true American story is one of resilience, and that we're going to make it out of this alive, you know?
And it's, you know, and I love that it's heavy too. And people love, you know, that heavy vibe. I mean, it makes us feel stronger. There's something about that heavy vibe that definitely makes us feel a little bit stronger. So has anyone ever tried to change you? Has anyone ever said, you know, wow, you're such a talented guy, but here's what you should do, you know, because I hear that and I've heard it for so many years from so many people in the music industry that they'll take somebody who's just such a uber talent but decide they want to change everything about them. And I'm wondering, you know, if part of your journey, has anybody ever tried to change you and you've been like, nope, this is who I am. This is how I write. This is how I play.
I want to say they've tried to change me. I've definitely had, you know, I've encountered some instances in which I've had leadership roles within, you know, my business as an independent artist. And at times I've had people try to kind of, you know, guide me a certain way, and that wasn't me, or I've had to, you know, kind of go a different direction from say, maybe some creative visions that some people around me, you know, they didn't have the experience to help guide. But I have always kind of stuck to my guns and just remains like me. You know what I mean? Even when it came to a point, there was a point where I got a phone call from Deep Cotton, and they were wondering if I would be willing to relocate to become a permanent member of the band, you know. And so here I am in this moment where I can go my direction and play my music and keep, you know, honing my skills for the next 5 to 10 years or whatever. Or I could have gone straight into the major label industry and started working with these guys and maybe opened up something there, you know. So at the end of the day, it was like I chose to just remain me, and I've kept it really solid and always kept this vision of uniting these different genres together in rock and roll, you know, hip hop and gospel, R&B, blues, and punk and classic rock, you know.
Yeah. And I can hear that in everything. And those are hard decisions to make as an
Very
artist.
difficult.
Because you seem like somebody who's always wanted to get that career to the next level of the career, as anyone would do, as any artist wants to do. And you know, you sort of, it's got to be so hard not to second guess and go, did I make the right decision? Did I do the right thing? You know, and staying true to yourself as an artist.
So difficult. I can't really put into words how hard some of those decisions are, because here you are, you're looking at steady money, and you're looking at housing and all the things you would need to just be satisfied in life and still be able to play music. And you're almost saying no to that because you want to struggle and become something different for yourself, you know? So greatness has always been my path, and I'm happy I chose the path of greatness and to do the things necessary to be where I'm at right now, put the work in, you know?
Talk to me about the full length. So you're obviously putting, you know, it's your major label debut, you know, on Big Machine Records, and you got a great management company behind you. Same people that manage Shinedown and Hailstorm and just Biffy Clyro. So many great, cool artists. I love the guys at Indigoot. They're just awesome people. I've known them forever. They're friends. Bill McGaffey and Ad Rock, Adam Lebensfeld, just awesome, awesome people. You got such a good group behind you. So talk to me about a full length and putting together a full length and putting music together at a time when we've not seen anything like this, or music being put together at a time like this.
Yeah. So the full length is we're getting close. I'm hoping we'll have something ready to go by the beginning of next year. Kind of just depending on how things play out, you know. I know we've got another single coming out pretty soon that's going to hit the DSPs, and I can't wait for you guys to hear all that. But yeah, it's been an interesting time to try to put together a record, you know. I mean, luckily a lot of the work that was necessary to put a record together was done and laid down before I got signed. And so the stuff we're doing now is maybe just tying up the loose ends to get that finished up. But yeah, it's a weird time, and I'm glad we kind of laid down some of the groundwork before any of this happened, because I don't actually know what we'd be, honestly, if we hadn't. So. But it's been a difficult time to try to get people together. I mean, you know, we're working on a music video right now, and hopefully we'll have that out pretty soon. And it's just been a weird time, man. You know, but we're gonna work around it. And like I said before, you know, it's the true American story is one of resilience. The true American story is getting knocked down and getting back to your feet and finding a way when there's no way. You know, so I'm gonna keep it real American and keep pushing forward, and hopefully I'll get this record out to you guys sooner than later.
Yay. And you know what I love? I mean, I'm hearing from so many listeners, music is just powering them through this. It always has, and they, you know, they want it more than ever now. You know, there's that sense of community. The rock family is that. We're a family. We've always been a community of listeners and artists. And so people really are holding to that, you know, more than ever now. And I'm so happy that you're now part of our rock and roll family. Would Take Me Away, and just amazing playing, great songwriting, just killer sounds. Ayron Jones, I'm a fan, and I'm so happy that I had a chance to connect with you. I feel like, because I've been a fan for a while, I feel like I know you. So I was like, oh, where do I start? Do we start with this or do we start with that? Like, I just feel like I've known you for a while, you know, just because I've been following the music, and I'm really, really happy to see where your journey is leading you.
Well, I'm really appreciative of that. I really, you know, I need more people like you in my corner, and I'm really happy that we got to connect today, and hopefully the fans out in New Jersey are enjoying the music and connecting as well.
Jersey is rock town, my friend.
No,
So
I know it.
when people like stuff, and you know, it's funny because as soon as we started playing Take Me Away, I started to have, like, my inbox would fill up. Oh, I saw him at Starland Ballroom opening for, you know, so-and-so. Like, everybody remembers the experience that they had with you, if they've had one so far. So we can't wait to get more of those in the new year. In 2021, I'm hoping is brighter time and greener pastures for everyone. But congratulations on everything. And thank you so much for hanging out with me on Reconnect with Rockers. I've had such a blast.
Well, thanks for having me, and I can't wait for us to do this again.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Advantage Contracting and by Karis Lock Company.